man Winter reached his hand up my ass and grabbed my soul and face fucked me into a wall head first.
Hey, Scorn, I'm not gonna mention this, but we may be recording, so like, fuck it. I'm not. There's gonna be no prep to this. It's just gonna be me bullshitting. Because it seems when I do prep, that's when it doesn't want to work. So
you're just going off the rip right now?
Yep, just going off the rip. Got it recording right now.
All right, fuck it, man. Let's fucking do it then. I'm Skornered. This is podcast. This is our review and our in-depth analysis of Goblin Slayer.
And I've almost committed a hate crime because of OBS tonight. So, you know.
Yeah, he's almost committed harikari like twice. Fucking great.
Harikari once, fucking Saboko twice.
At one point, podcast announced that he was grabbing his own balls and twisting. It was great.
It sounded like
he was like.
That's probably how it sounded like when I was far away from the microphone, screaming into the back of my TV because my HDMI input wasn't where it should have been.
He was screaming into the void.
Yeah, so you just hear, goddamn son of a fucking course this thing, goddamn, but just, I sound like Scored on a good day.
Yeah.
One man, one way, a fouled up internet connection screwed up his OBS and royally butt-fucked his streams. What will he do now? I can't get the goddamn computer to work. Shh, he's coming back. Don't you know that I have a fucking Bluetooth headset? Coming this March, Podcast Daddy and Skornered in the Goblin Slayer review.
I really wish it was that, energetic of how he described it, but it really
wish you would have recorded him like busting a nut over the fact that you were raging. That was funny as hell.
I was pissed. It's been a day. Okay, so anyways, Goblin Slayer, glad we're here. Glad I did that. Glad I watched 12 episodes of an anime.
Okay, so number one, let's be honest, it's 11 episodes. One episode is one of those goddamn recaps.
Oh, yeah, 10.5.
I fucking hate recaps.
Yeah, same here.
It's like, bro, I just got done binge watching this. I don't need this.
I watched all of this. What do you mean I need a recap of what the fuck happened? I know what happened.
I know what happened. My whole Monday is gone.
Same. My entire day of work was nothing but watching this shit. Which I'm not complaining because there's a lot of shit that I forgot happened. And then I watched, I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay. Like, I didn't notice the first time I watched it that when the priestess is in the cave, she pisses herself because she's so scared. I did not notice that.
Yeah, that's what they were laughing at her for.
Oh, they were laughing at her? I thought they were just like smelling.
Were laughing at her. No, they were smelling it and they were like, ha ha ha, she pissed herself.
Oh.
Because they hate people. They hate humans.
Yeah, I thought they were just smelling it and like, aha, like an aha moment, not a haha, dumbass. I do like one thing in Goblin Slayer though, how they took such a small enemy in most RPGs and turned them into the most terrifying fucking things ever.
Well, if we're going to start this and we're going to do this, let's give it the respect it deserves because a lot of people skip the first episode because vaginas. My bad. I just popped my knee back into place. I didn't go that hard.
Okay.
My bad, man. I expected it just to be a little, and then that would be it. I do it kind of often. Oh my god, that one. All right. Anyway,
that wasn't even like that was a pat.
Did you hear it? It like snapped.
Kind of. I'm kind of grossed out by it.
So the first episode, it has to do with the hard R word, rapé. And a lot of people don't watch it because it's triggering.
It's animation, get over it.
Number one, it's the same people talking about it's triggering, it's so terrible, are the same people who laughed when Peter Griffin was pushing himself on a drunk what was her name? Annie D'Amico.
I think so. Yeah,
15 or 14-year-old girl from the fucking
motorcycle episode.
The what?
The motorcycle episode where they're all having a house party.
Yeah. And he's all making out with her on the floor there, and he's like, "It's a cartoon, get over it." It's okay for Peter to do it because he's of your same fucking mindset, you fucking morons. I get it. Rape is hard to look at. Well, you know what? I think it's a very good storytelling deal.
Please explain that to Draven. Please explain that story topic to Draven, because I've tried explaining that. He's like, but it doesn't need to happen sometimes.
Yes, it fucking does. Yes, it does. You need to see how vulnerable and how torn down the main character is. How completely fucking broken she is that she pisses herself out of the fear of fucking death. Because you're so used to heroes not having any goddamn fear of death. None of these fucking heroes have any fear of fucking death, to the point that they're so goddamn immune that people have forgotten what fucking death is. People
plot
are
armor
so
is a
up
motherfucker.
their own fucking ass with plot armor. People are so up their own ass with the fact that, oh, well, this guy's just a badass. Well, this girl's such a badass. They're such a badass that they don't ever get hit in a fight. Motherfucker, her whole team was killed. Her friends were raped right in fucking front of her by a bunch of non-human motherfuckers. She was about to cast the one fucking spell and try to save her fucking friend. They shoot her with a fucking arrow. She pisses herself and they're about to fucking do away with her. Her life is at an end and it is needful. You need to fucking see it because it's a story element. That's called despair, motherfucker. That's when you wake up, your electricity's off. You realize your check didn't clear. Your fucking rent was due a day ago. Your friends made off with your fucking couch. Your Wi-Fi is disconnected. Your dog starved to death. It's stinking up the fucking hallway. Your neighbor pissed on your fucking door. And now your fucking car is being towed because you parked in front of a fire hydrant. Despair, motherfucker. Feel it. That's what life fucking feels like. And you need it as a storytelling element. And I'm so fucking tired of oversensitive, whiny, bitchy little fucking people telling me otherwise. Learn how to tell a goddamn story and learn how to look at a goddamn story and know what the fucking actual story is. Because Goblin Slayer is a goddamn story. It's a good goddamn story about how that girl overcomes her fucking fear and not only becomes a successful adventurer, but helps change the main character.
God damn. All right. That's where we're at.
I told you I love this fucking series, man. I love this series because I'm gonna tell you, bro, when I was feeling stifled, and I'm gonna do a round the world thing real fast, and when I'm done, you'll understand why I love this series so much. I started writing and drawing again a couple years ago when Grey Item brought me back to Tomb Wreckers. And at that point, I was debating whether or not that racism belonged in the game. And I was debating or not whether to have certain heroes or certain characters be a certain way because of all this fucking cancel culture bullshit that was infecting my mind. I started thinking, well, maybe this is the way that, these things should be. And maybe I should just water down my story a little bit here, water it down a little bit there. And I was becoming the very fucking thing that I hate. What did I tell you was the ultimate weapon against anybody or anything?
You forget about him or, well,
indifference. When you are indifferent towards a person, they cease to exist. When you hate them, you get that rage click, that fucking hate boner, and you're watching them all the time to talk shit about them, but they're still getting your view.
Right.
When you are indifferent towards somebody, they get nothing. They evaporate. They cease to fucking exist. And I became sort of indifferent to my stories, and my stories became vapor. They became nah. You are neither warm or you are neither cold nor hot. You are lukewarm and tasteless, a bland mush that I will now expel from my mouth.
You are white rice. You are white rice with nothing.
The point is, when you are flavorless, you're worse than bad. And Goblin Slayer, the only reason I heard about Goblin Slayer
because it was pissing people off. I didn't even know the series existed until I heard about it on It's a Gundam, when he was comparing Goblin Slayer to Berserk. Now, I watched that first episode and I didn't see what was wrong with it because I love a good fucking story. And that fucking story drew me in. I watched like 5 episodes and realized that I had It's a Gundam paused at like the 10-minute mark. I forgot I didn't even know. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, God damn, bro, I lost my life in this fucking show. I went to work the next day, hogged their internet, and I watched the rest of that motherfucker. Now, what it taught me was, if you write a story with the respect it deserves and give it the respect it deserves, right? You give it what it needs. You feed it. You love it. And if you're willing to stand in front of a tide of screeching, out of touch morons who will never support your work anyway, who only get joy out of their black hearts by tearing actual creatives down. These fucking people tear down writers and actual people who will fucking create, who will write entertaining fucking stories, who will make you think. If you are willing to stand in front of those fucking people, you can make something wonderful. That's why I love Goblin Slayer, because it is a fucking watermark for me. It is the mark in the sand that separates the wheat from the chaff. Step over that line and fall in love with thinking and fall in love with feeling again. That's why I love that fucking show, because it brought me back to the fucking game. Racism is staying in Tomb Wreckers, and fuck you if you don't like it. The game's staying hard. My art is going to keep doing what the fuck I want it to do, and I'm going to make the characters I want to fucking create. And fuck you if you don't like them. I don't give a shit. Goblin Slayer brought that back to me and gave me back that fucking gift. That's why I'm so fucking attached to that series. That's why I fucking love it, because it pushed that boundary. In an era of glam rock, Nirvana came out and kicked the music industry in the fucking ass, the same way that in the 70s, bands like Led Zeppelin kicked the music industry in the ass. Undeniably, there were certain people at certain times in history who really gave the fucking industry a nice swift kick in the fucking balls to remind it who exactly drives that fucking industry. And it's not the fucking yes man yuppies, 2 for a fucking dollar, fucking catty ass creating these fucking Viz Media bullshit ass artists. If you don't know who Viz Media is, you're probably not a fan of fucking anime in the first place. So I don't care about your fucking inept opinion. These people tried to choke anime and manga during the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And thank fucking God that there are some people left who actually want to write a good fucking story. Next question. I'm sorry.
Next question. This ain't an interview, my guy. We were talking about Goblin Slayer, then you just went off, King, and I just thought.
But that all involves Goblin Slayer, though. That's why I fucking love it.
No, it does. That's why I was just letting you go off on your tangent, because I'm like, I'd be a dumb man to
stop me. Y'all know what I do when I go off like that. God damn it.
That's what I'm doing. This is content, Scorn. This is content. If I stop you, then I'm doing like everything I'm against. So I like Goblin Slayer. Well, one, because it pissed people off. So I'm in the same boat you are. Like, it pissed people off because of the grappe scene, which wasn't even that graphic. It just hinted at it.
That's all it had to do, though. He treated it with the respect of. You don't need hardcore hentai to get your point across.
Yeah, you didn't get like a full-on scene, but it's still like you know what.
Cock, you know.
Yeah. Oh, in the manga, you've seen the goblin cock.
Well, in the manga, it was more edgy.
Yeah,
I mean, do it for a different audience, and I think that it was a nice balance. In many ways, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this, and I don't give a fuck. I liked the anime more than the manga because the anime got more to it. It was more entertaining to me, and I didn't need all the details that they left out. They don't, The shit they left out of the fucking anime didn't make any goddamn difference in the end. It felt like a director's cut.
And nine times out of 10, when you go from manga to anime, they kind of just cut extra dialogue and change little shit, so it's not like a huge difference.
Yeah.
Which is why I wasn't that heartbroken, because I'm like, I'm only gonna miss a couple extra scenes of dialogue, so I'm not really that fucking pressed about it. I do like the character growth of everybody, though. All the characters got a healthy dose of character growth.
I was gonna get to that too, man. I love the fact that all the characters grow during the series. Every one of them have their reservations about each other, and every one of them have an actual personality. Let me say that again.
Every one of them have a personality.
You can name things about these characters that don't have anything to do with who they're fucking or what they look like. Those are personality traits. The lizard guy loving cheese.
I love the lizard guy. He's my favorite.
He is fucking amazing, man. I love that dude, man. My favorite character in the fucking show, besides Goblin Slayer, though, Farm Girl.
We know why you like Farm Girl. Don't play me like that.
No, dude, it's because
don't play me like that.
She also got them titties, but no, she's
yeah. Don't hit me with the she's an interesting character. Titties.
No, she really is though. She's an interesting character.
No, she is. She's very dedicated.
She is. That's right. You see how dedicated she is to the farm. Notice I just started talking about her. We both went to the same fucking spot because that's a character. That's a portrayal of a character. You can tell that about them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I like that. I like that you get to know them like people. It's not just like,
they exist.
Yeah,
that's
they exist, and they like to fuck these people, and they like to dress in this way, and they like the internet. The internet gas made them fart the internet juice.
Yeah, then it's like, wait, hold on. I missed a lot. Who's this person again? Oh, this is Gobblegork from like the first episode. You missed him? Who the fuck is that? No, but you get a lot of character development. The only character I wasn't like the hugest fan of was the High Elf. Only person. For some reason, she just irritated the ever-loving fuck out of me.
You're talking about the elf in the Goblin Slayer, correct?
Yep.
Okay. It's just, you're breaking up a little bit, but so the elf in the Goblin Slayer is meant to be a bitch. She's meant to be an asshole. You know what she's like? She's like the cheerleader schoolgirl. And the reason she's meant to be like that, because high elves are like that. That's how they are. I'm sorry, everybody out there with the romanticized notion that high elves are some fucking what's that J.R.R. Tolkien, that dude in there? Like they're like that guy. They're fucking not. They don't like humans. They have a contempt for humans. They don't like dwarves. They think dwarves are garbage.
Which we see a lot. Which we see those two argue quite a bit.
Same way. That's right. But they argue in a way that travelers would argue when they have a kind of a sibling rivalry. It becomes less throughout the show, but they keep that line there. And people romanticize a lot of what they think about character races based on how they want these things to be. Like everyone wants vampires to be these really pretty, sparkly motherfuckers that look good and romantically bite you on the neck, and it's so sexual. And so they're sucking your fucking blood out in one of the most painful ways fucking possible. When
your life force is leaving.
When you bleed to death, you shit yourself, you vomit, and then you fucking die. Okay, let that fucking sink into you fucking simps out there that want to be bitten by a fucking vampire. You're going to shit yourself. You're going to puke everywhere. Your head is going to hurt like a bastard. You're going to lose consciousness, and then you're going to fucking die. Okay, there's nothing sexual about it. Okay, he sneaks in your window, he makes you shit your bed, and then you get fucking killed. That's it. It's painful. I've seen people bleed to death before. It's not pretty. It's not, oh, it's so sexy. It's fucking terrifying. And so we romanticize these things. Oh, high elves are just the nicest. They're the prettiest. No, they're gaunt. They're thin. They have long fucking noses. They have the longest fucking ears that don't fit anywhere. Okay. They're tall as shit. Okay. They live the longest. They have the most contempt for humans. And they look at dwarves like people used to look at slaves back in the fucking 1800s.
Yeah, because
That's
didn't she
how-
say that she was 2,000 years old?
Yes, she was 2,000 years old, and she's the longest lived race. And she was even talking shit about the dwarf who was like 200 or something.
Yeah, like, oh, you look your age.
Yeah, she's a bitch. And she's supposed to be, because that's a character trait of that class. It's realistic. I like that shit.
And I like the snarkiness of Goblin Slayer when she's like, you can't use, what was it, water, fire, or...
Hold on. I want to propose something to you about this. I don't think it's snarky. Is Piggy still here? She's not? Okay, she might have gone. So listen. I don't think
I'm here. I'm eating food.
Fair enough. Okay, so I wish she would see the manga or the anime. I'm going to propose something to you. And I'm going to propose something that's not to you, but to the podcast because you watched it.
Okay.
I think that he might be slightly autistic. He has no emotions.
Fair enough.
None.
Well,
he's over analytical, and he has no sense of humor.
okay, all right.
Straight autism, yep.
That's okay, but let's before we throw the autism card down, let's remember that at a very young age, he suffered a fucking great deal of trauma.
Oh, hold on now. Was he fucked up before that though? Do you remember the interaction between him and his sister? Irrationally being angry about her just simply going to town and then holding it against her until he watched her die? That's a fact, and it happened.
Don't think it was his sister he was mad at. I think it was Farm Girl.
No, it was his sister.
It was Farm Girl.
Farm Girl is his sister.
Childhood friends. Farm Girl, his sister died.
But was it his sister though? Was it? Okay, that part is a little bit confusing for me. But the fact of the matter is
Farm Girl is his lifelong friend. They even say it in the anime.
Right. The point I'm trying to make is this. He is irrationally angry at whoever the fuck that was, and he holds it against her. All right? He doesn't, there's no reason for him to be mad. He just is. That's straight autism, bro. It just is.
I mean, if you kind of look beneath the surface, you can kind of understand why he's irrationally angry.
No, I get that. But there's no passion in what he does either. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't take joy in it. It's just a job to him. He just does it methodically. I really honestly think that he's slightly autistic in there. And I think that that's the reason why he has no emotions and he's just all about logic.
And he's all about slaying goblins too. That is the main goal.
Yes.
I mean, he even makes it abundantly clear when they're like, "Oh, the Demon King is coming." He's like, "Does it involve goblins?" No.
Whoa! When he shuts her down, she's like, "As you know, the Demon King." He's like, "That's not important," and he just starts walking off.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't give a fuck."
He's like, "I don't give a fuck."
He even says, "Does it involve goblins?" Nope. Then it's not my problem.
Point, though, man. Goblins are like, a lot of people in D&D games like ignore the goblins or they don't want to do the goblin. And it is a fact because goblins are just like a big pain in the ass. They're really weak. They're not worth anything. But if you think about it, man, he's right. While everyone else is, and I started thinking about how it compares to Superman. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Superman came down to Gotham to recruit Batman. When he took Batman up there, he introduced him to the Justice League. Batman didn't want to join the Justice League at first. And I'm sorry, not more like Superman and Batman. My bad. More like Green Arrow. I'm sorry, I got my facts mixed up for half a second. Because Batman ended up staying because he saw the rationale behind. The Green Arrow is who I'm talking about. When they wanted to get the Green Arrow, they went down to Earth. They grabbed the Green Arrow, brought him to their little playpen up there, and he referred to it as a little playpen. And they said, "You're going to be a member of the Justice League. You're going to do so much good for the galaxy." And he said, No. You're going to take me back to my city. You guys got this up here. You don't need me. And they're like, "Yeah, you're the heart of the team." He said, "Look, while you guys are up here playing gods, my city's being vandalized and victimized. There are people who depend on me being there. You guys got this up here. I go down there with normal people. He didn't say it exactly like that. He said it in a better way. But the fact is, Goblin Slayer has that same mentality. Well, we can slay the Demon King because his armies are on the move. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And they even say that. Well, what if the Demon King destroys the kingdom? And he's like, well, the goblins are going to destroy the country. Well, we can beat the Demon King. And he's like, what difference does that make? They're still going to victimize the people after he's gone. Who cares about the Demon King? The goblins are a bigger problem.
Right.
And it's like, wow, you start to see his rationale. It's like, he's got a good fucking point.
There's a lot of good points made by Goblin Slayer that on base level, if you look at it, you're like, wow, he's kind of a prickhole. But if you think about it, you're like, he has some valid points. He has some pretty valid points here.
That's one of the things that wins the elf girl over. In the beginning, she even says it. She's like, you don't like me much, do you? And he doesn't say anything to that. You know, he's like, I'm not really particular one way or the other. Like, he doesn't care one way or the other. You know, and then she's like, she wants to see his face. And it's not because he doesn't want her to see him. It's because he doesn't want to get ambushed and hit in the head with a rock.
Said that at the campfire.
That's right.
When they're sitting all around the campfire having the meal and kind of talking about like, well, why'd you become an adventurer? Why'd you do this? And he's like, I just want to slay goblins. That's why I do it. Everybody else has a story where the elf is like, I followed a leaf and I traveled and I just realized it was so beautiful. The priestess I wanted to help people. Lizard man said he wants to become a dragon. I don't remember what the dwarf said offhand. And then all Goblin Slayer said was, I want to kill goblins. Only reason. That's why I'm doing it.
So I have like one or two little factoids that I wanted to bring forth to see if you noticed.
Oh, having Scorn on a show wouldn't be anything if you didn't bring factoids with you.
Number one, did you notice that no one in the entire anime, none of the main characters had a name?
It was all based off what they were.
It's all based off of what they are. None of them have a name. Goblin Slayer.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, think about it. They call him Scaly. They call the lizard man Scaly. They call the elf girl like Elf. They call the dwarf
Pointy ears.
Dwarf or
it was either pointy ears or long ears. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, they called her long ears and pointy ears, and the point is that no one has a name. Think about it. That's crazy, isn't it? Goblin Slayer.
I did not notice that. That nobody actually had a fucking name.
Nobody. It's crazy as shit.
All right, quick question. Did you watch the dub or did you watch the sub?
Oh, bro, I watched the fucking sub because I love the subtitles. I love his voice.
Okay, so...
Because he sounds more... You know what it is? He sounds more like a guy who's seen and been through some shit. Because the American version is like a curious teenager.
Bane. The entire time it's just Bane.
Yeah.
That's all I hear.
Yeah.
That's all I heard the entire time was just...
You cannot come in and kill some goblins.
That's all. Well, like I said, I watched it while I was at work. So, like, I had to hear the dub so I could kind of get, like, the dialogue in because I can't really sit and watch sub. And I will tell you, there are some lines that just are perfect in the English dub because when they meet the sword priestess or the sword mage for the first time, this motherfucker walks in, he's like, "We're the goblins." That's it. And just hearing that in the American voice just killed me.
I don't like the American voice because there's too much emotion. I like the Japanese voice because it's more emotionless and dead. I like that. And like in the Japanese version, when he approaches that woman, she says something and he just completely ignores her and goes, so you have a goblin problem. I'm here to slay them. And then that chick is like, no, he didn't. He's being rude, la la la. Like he just gets right down to business. You know, I like that.
And you also notice that's how he is all the time. It's no fucking around.
He never breaks character, except for the time that he gets the ice cream. You see him start softening around the edges.
I like that scene. Say what you
I-
want. I enjoyed that scene with him and the
I thought
priestess.
it was really good. It was him becoming a little bit more human throughout the show. And I thought that was really needed. And that's called character growth. You know, he goes from being basically a raging lunatic who's lost his mind and lost his way to almost being what could be conceived as a human.
Right. And then the moment, and I like the story he told where he said, when I was younger, I was afraid to walk. I was afraid to step foot on ground.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was afraid that the ground was going to fall underneath me and I'm going to die. And the priestess responds with, do you still feel like that? And he says, yes. But unfortunately, that I got to keep moving from that. I fear it, but that's not going to stop me. I love I love that little bit of somebody who can run into a dungeon full of goblins or run into a whole situation of evil can still be like, yes, I have a fear of something. And it terrifies me to my core, but it won't stop me from doing what I want to do.
So I'm going to say something that is kind of blah. I did not like that arc. And it's not that I hated it, okay? I thought that where they went in and did all that with the sword priestess or whatever.
Yeah.
I get that it was supposed to be an exploration as to where the goblins come from and all that. And as far as that goes, that's fine. But they could have traveled there without the weird twist at the end. I would have preferred it if he came there, killed the goblins, did his mission, she thanked him, paid him, they had the conversation, he left. But there's this whole like mysterious, she put the alligator there because she was afraid of the goblins, but then the alligator, then she killed some person in town to make people fear that they didn't know the goblins were coming. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that made no sense to me. It's like, okay.
I never got that far in the manga because, like you said, there's like a million goddamn chapters for one book, and life is too fucking short.
Well, life's not too short, but some of us just don't have.
I never got there.
That kind of dedicated time.
The conversation between them was awesome, but then there was this whole like plot thread where they see the alligator and she put it there and keeping the goblins there, but the goblins got up and then raped her or whatever. My bad, I dropped the hard R. Anyway, then the fucking alligator was in the sewer and it grew up and she knew about it. What in the fuck?
Yeah, you could tell they phoned in that ending. Like, how we got to end this? Because the alligator makes
completely like just keep going, just keep going.
Yeah, the alligator made no fucking sense, but we're gonna throw it in anyways.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does. Hopefully nobody questions it. But what about this? Shut up. You didn't see anything.
Everything else for me worked though. I liked it. I would have preferred something like the guard was just keeping them down there and the guard was running thin. That would have made more sense. Because they were asking, why didn't you send the city guard in? Because our troops are diminished so thin because we don't know where they're coming from. That place is like a labyrinth and we have to keep fighting them at the entrance. It's all we can do to keep the town safe.
Right.
You see what I mean? That'd have been a perfectly serviceable answer. Wouldn't have changed the story at all. You'd have just done away with that dumbass alligator angle.
Okay, so speaking of the guard spell, I have to bring up something that was at the very end of the season that I audibly laughed at work when it happened.
What?
Oh, okay. Oh, it cracks me up. So when Goblin Slayer is fighting the Goblin King and they're going back and forth, and you see Goblin Slayer just getting his shit pushed in. I mean,
that
his
was a
head.
badass fight too.
Hold on. let me get to where I'm going. And then you just see the two guards come in and squish the Goblin King, like two walls, like it's Star Wars.
Okay.
Just closing it and pin him. And then Goblin Slayer comes up after the Goblin King goes, I promise I won't do this ever again. I'll go back and I won't ever come back and bother anybody. And Goblin Slayer just goes, no, you're just a filthy goblin. and then just stab. That's not what made me laugh. He stabs him in the throat and like slices it, and you see the priestess just standing back there, just stone-faced, just like kind of smiling. I laughed so fucking hard at that scene because it's like you're watching a man cut another man's jugular, and you're just like, this is fine.
But you got to remember, what did she go through in the beginning? You see,
No,
that's her payoff.
No, I know, but it just, for some reason, I seen that scene and I audibly laughed at work.
Bro,
Like,
I think
I was cracking up.
Sorry, my bad. I think one of my favorite scenes in the whole fucking series where I was laughing my ass off is where they come up to that cave entrance after they kill those 2 or 3 goblins with the arrow. And then he grabs the knife and like slices one open and starts soaking a rag. And the elf girl's like, what are you doing? And he's like, we have to mask our scent. And then she turns around and looks, and the fucking priestess is like, you get used to it. And her eyes are dead inside.
Yeah, it's like you get used to it. It's like, what the fuck have you been through?
She's like, you get used to it. And then you just see him in the background getting bigger and bigger than a rag. Bro, there are some fucking funny parts in the Goblin Slayer, man.
And they're not even supposed to be comical parts. That's the thing. Like, it's supposed to be the serious ass show, but it's just the chemistry that you get between all 4 of the characters. Wait, no, 5, sorry. Between all 5 of those characters, it's the chemistry, and it's just the timing. Comedic timing is what it is.
I would argue, as a matter of fact, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I would argue that the Goblin Slayer isn't even the main character.
Nope.
I would argue he's supporting it best. I would argue that the main character is probably the priestess. Because it seems more about her journey than anything else.
I will wholeheartedly agree with you that it is about the priestess.
And I'm okay with that, by the way. I'm good with it.
She had such a character development throughout that entire show that I can't even argue that point. Because you see her going from in the beginning to being so scared watching all of her friends get killed to at the end going with Goblin Slayer to fight the Goblin King and not having any like, well, this is happening, I'm gonna have to fight him too. Like she had no fear in her system doing that.
So how do you feel about the Goblin Slayer being a silver rank? Because I honestly think if he puts his mind to it, there's a lot of relation between Goblin Slayer and Batman, if you think about it. Do you want me to go there?
Yeah, go there. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water while you were talking.
So, all right. Goblin Slayer lost his parents in a horrific, dealy bop.
Right.
Batman the same way. Goblin Slayer thinks more than he acts, and he does so to defeat his opponents by thinking of ways to outsmart them. Batman is a planner and a strategist first. He will think and he will outthink his opponents, and he will always create ways to defeat them. Goblin Slayer wins because he is smarter and because he is more determined and he is more creative than his opponents. Batman usually faces people 10 times stronger than him, but he will win because he is smarter, more resourceful, and more creative. They are so similar in a lot of ways.
Never thought about it that way, but that does make a lot of sense.
One of my favorite fights in the whole thing is when he fights the ogre. And that fucking ogre is like with that fucking fireball.
Oh, that's where he uses the teleportation scroll.
Yes. And he like walks over to the ogre, and the ogre is like, Lakta! And he's like forming that fireball. He's like, Kisk! And he doesn't get the word out. And Goblin Slayer is like, moron. Whoosh! And just fucking opens a scroll connected to the bottom of the fucking ocean.
And just sends him right to Jesus.
Just obliterates this fucking dude's body. And while the ogre is laying there bleeding to death, Goblin Slayer walks over on him and he's like, what were you called again? It doesn't matter. It just stabs him in the fucking
it's
face.
like, what were you called again? I mean, it doesn't matter, but I want to know what's less bothersome than goblins. And it's like,
fucking stabs him right in the fucking face. And he's like, it doesn't matter because goblins are more troublesome than you. God, I was like, oh my God.
Right, like, imagine being called less bothersome than a goblin, and you're supposed to be this giant beast that
especially after the disdain that the ogre had for the goblins. Remember when he said they don't even make good henchmen? If you
Mhm.
remember, he used one as a weapon. He like threw him like a baseball.
And then use another one as a human shield.
Yes, right.
Oh,
Oh god, it's a good show, man.
all right. If we're gonna go off favorite scenes, mine would have to be when they all go against the what is it? The Goblin Champion. I
Which
think
one?
that it was close to the end where the High Priestess gets her arm gnawed into.
That wasn't a Goblin Champion.
Okay, then what was that? Because I must have missed what that was supposed to be.
No, you're right. You're right. It was a Goblin Champion. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm thinking
what
of
I.
the ogre again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I thought that was a Goblin Champion.
Yeah.
No,
was a
but
Goblin
what I love the most about that, for one, just the sense of dread you get that entire scene.
That was the one where
Like-
he was passed out, right?
Yeah, like even at work, I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Because you see him get thrown and he's just coughing up blood.
Yeah. He's
Like-
fucked up.
Yeah, like you see blood coming out of his helmet and you're like, get up. Get
She's
up,
down
please.
on miracles. He's fucked. Old girl's fucked. Lizard man ain't got no. He's busy trying to tear a mirror off a wall.
The dwarf is trying to like help the high elf.
He's like throwing. He's literally throwing rocks because he's got nothing left. And it's
Yeah, and
like,
then-
God damn, dude, they're about to die. They're about to be overrun, man.
Yep, and then you just hear the chomp and the high priestess scream out of agony of getting her arm chomped into. And then you see that red eye. You see that red eye glow.
Bro, when
And
you
he
see that
sneaks
red eye, man,
up and he sneaks up behind the champion, grabs the hair from the soldier that we seen a little bit ago, the dead soldier that was used
Yeah.
as his decoy. Oh, this scene gave me goosebumps. He wraps it around the neck. He's like, I always got told by assassins that human hair would be good for rope, just so you can squeeze the neck. And I was like, oh,
Yeah, he was like,
Fuck.
I've heard that assassins use human hair as a tool for strangulation because it's stronger than rope and it cuts really tight into the arteries. And he just starts going. You got to keep in mind, he is not healed. He is bleeding to death internally, but he has the will to kill one more goblin before he goes. And he is on this motherfucker, yanking this bitch's head completely off his body at this point, man. He is in there, bro. His hands are bleeding, cutting through the gloves, and he is just going ham. And I'm just like, bro, get him.
And then afterwards, when he kills him, he's like, okay, who's next?
No, he
You?
doesn't kill him, remember? The thing throws him off and stumbles down the hall. They kill him
that's
later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, just afterwards when he's like, okay, who's next? You?
Oh, bro, yeah. After
You?
he kills him, he's like, you, and he's like looking, and they're like afraid of him at that point. They're like, oh, fuck no, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, if you see the goblins freak out over that, you're like, oh, they sense the fear. They know what's coming if they stay.
This man is walking around with a wad of human hair and a broken spear, and he's bleeding everywhere, just chasing goblins away down the hall. It is so goddamn surreal, man. I love that shit.
It's nice just seeing a character just go for the last gusto. That's all it is he's like, you know what? If I'm going out, I'm taking one with me.
Again, bro, I go back to the fact that characters don't get injured anymore and people have no fucking sense of their own mortality. I'm gonna sound. I'm trying to think of a way to do this. But the only thing I could keep coming back to is Tomb Wreckers because, like, I'm halfway drunk and we're talking about Goblin Slayer. It's kind of on my mind right now. So
I'm halfway drunk.
well, sorry. In Tomb Wreckers, the people in Tomb Wreckers, the players, and Piggy's, you still there? She's gone. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
No, she's here. She just listened to you go on your tirades like the rest of us here.
In Tomb Wreckers, the players know that their characters have a mortality rate. Even if they think that they are ironclad, which Piggy's was playing a tank character.
Why does that not surprise me?
Badass tank character too. I hope she gets that character back again one day because I love her in that role, dude. And Piggy's was playing a tank character. At one point, and they had been fighting decently hard things, moderately hard things, but then they came up against a real fucking goat. And this thing smashed the shit out of her. And everybody in the party was laughing and joking around until she fell out. Had like no fucking hit points left after like 1 or 2 hits. And the way that I do the game is I don't describe the hit point loss. I describe what happens to the character when they land. This motherfucker hit her almost through a brick wall. She fucking fell down, bricks and smoke and mortar everywhere. Her character is on the ground trying to lift up the hammer, coughing up fucking blood and shit. There is no armor in my game to absorb hits. The armor is very thin. So you get hit, bro, your character is fucked. And some of these guys can literally kill your character with one good hit. You will go down and you will be killed by a nobody with one good hit, as the way it fucking should be. Because not everybody gets a heroic death at the hands of a god king at the end of a fucking chapter. Some people die nameless in a fucking cave. And I really like that Goblin Slayer is almost like that. And I love the mortality of character. I told you once about the whole thing with the Rage Demon fighting that bad guy who beats him half to death. It's the mortality. It's the vulnerability of a character. You know who cares about Superman when he fights? Fans of Superman, because he doesn't get hurt by anything. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to latch on to.
No, let me remind you that when Superman died, it made national news.
You know why? Because he's never had mortality before that. And
so
now
the one
took it
moment he
away.
does, the one moment he does, it was like, oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, because they were killing off a national icon at that point, too. The point I'm trying to make is characters are built up in our heads to be some type of bigger than life thing. We all imagine that when we're playing D&D or we're playing Cyberpunk or playing Tomb Wreckers, hopefully one day, that you are the hero of the story and that you will die an awesome death saving the world. If you play Tomb Wreckers, you will be enlightened to the fact that no, sometimes you will just be dead to some nameless fucking goblin in some goddamn cave, and your whole party died on the way out when they all fell off of a cliff because of their own stupidity. That's necessary.
Yeah. And they kind of, I mean, they even kind of make that thing prominent in Goblin Slayer too.
That's right. You don't know that these characters are going to live. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, is this person going to die? And it's like, that's good writing.
You also have the character development of when people step in to save the other people that are suffering.
Oh yeah, that's another really cool thing. I mean, I'm not going to get on. I'm not going.
They may not have cared about previously. They may save just out of the fact of, hey, they were traveling with me. I should do something.
You know, I'm not going to like start talking about Tomb Wreckers where this is a Goblin Slayer thing, but I will say that if you watch the interaction between the dwarf and the elf, they do that eventually. Like they start actually working together. Like when the dwarf is rounding up arrows for the elf, they wouldn't have done that in the beginning. They were fucking arguing over bullshit.
Right.
And they developed into that role where they were companions. And it's because of Goblin Slayer that they did so. You notice that they didn't really want to go on another adventure with him until they finished the first one. They kind of just wanted him to help him with that one and then be done. And then they were like, the goblins really are a fucking pain. They really are a problem. And the reason that they keep agreeing to go with him is because they're a bigger and bigger fucking threat. So we talked about the series pretty much, and I don't know how much time that you have right now.
I was gonna go for an hour, hour and a half.
What are we at right now? Like
we're at 50 minutes.
Okay.
Like I said, hour and a half would have been like what the stream would have been. So
how about we talk about the FMV?
The what?
The movie.
Oh.
I thought you go
Sure.
first because I'm gonna go off, Queen.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it after watching an entire season of great character development, seeing all these different side characters sort of get a personality of their own, and the amazing fight scenes, the world building that happened, and the connection that you felt. Kind of felt like it got left behind. When they made the movie, it felt like everything that made Goblin Slayer great, they watered that down to like the bare minimum. They kept the sexual assault. Don't think they left the sexual assault out of this. No, they did not. But it's like you kind of just left all the things that I loved in the series and fucked off from the movie. And in the end, girl gets her sword back. She's saved. Whippy. And at the very end, when they're like, "Ah, Happy New Year." The guy, I mean, which it's smart of how they did that, where he said, "Oh, I can see that the goblins are starting to, what's the word I want to use here? Are
Wait,
starting
hold on, stop. I never seen that.
the very end of the
Is
movie."
that like an after the credits thing?
It must have been.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, it's so Goblin Slayer is sitting outside at a campfire, right?
Okay.
And it's a New Year's Eve celebration. And he is sitting outside, and the priestess comes out and let me see, microphones away from my mouth. And the priestess comes out and joins him, and she said, "You should probably come out, or you should probably come in and enjoy, some time with your friends." And he says, "I can't relax." In 10 years, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about now?
Okay, yes. And then she shares like some food with him or whatever.
Yeah, where
Making
he's
soup or whatever. Yes.
yeah, where he says, "It scares me that they're advancing the way that they are."
Yeah, he says they're learning is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was really the only redeeming quality of that entire thing. If you want me to be honest, the only redeeming quality that entire thing had was like they're learning. Oh, okay. So that's it. That's all you're gonna give me? Okay. Because the rest of it was just a story I really didn't give a fuck about. Okay, your turn. Oh yes, I love it when the throat gets clear to start something off.
Okay. First of all, take a sip of this whiskey.
Oh, we're getting real serious. The whiskey's getting sick. Okay. Oh God, you gargle whiskey, you fucking heathen.
Here we go.
Oh, Jesus
of all,
Christ.
I waited a goddamn year. A goddamn year, bro. I was on goddamn tippy toes and fingertips. I was waiting to pounce, boy. I heard they were making a Goblin Slayer season fucking 2, and I was like, ooh, I can't wait to get my dick in that cherry pie. And then I saw the YouTube, the fucking preview, the teaser trailer. Oh my God. Goblin Slayer is going to the wicked cold fucking north. My nipples are hard. My dick is ready. I'm turning into a fucking frosted penguin Cheerio fucking mama jamma motherfucker. I'm ready for this shit. Oh, give it to me. Oh, goddamn. I was waiting for it, man. I was waiting for it because I loved this fucking series. It turned me on, baby. Made me go like a quart of fucking Valvoline, man. Rawr. And I was on there, boy. And then, goddamn, a year went by and nothing. And then a year and like a month or so went by and then nothing still. And then I finally got to fucking see it. I finally got to see it because I watched the entire Goblin Slayer series and there was another episode. I was like, oh my God, the movie. I'll finally see the movie. And my nipples were hard again, and I was happy and filled with joy. And I clicked that play button. I got my popcorn, and I just waited, and I was pissed the fuck off.
There it is.
Movie is like an hour and 30 fucking minutes, and the first 23 and a half goddamn minutes are nothing but a fucking recap I didn't need episode 10.5.2. I needed you to put some goddamn content in that first 30 fucking minutes because I don't need to hear all the shit that I just binge watched. Then they do some interesting shit. There is some good in that show. The where he shoots that goblin with a detachable arrowhead.
That was smart. I will give
And then
credit where
later
credit's
on,
due.
the elf got shot with a detachable arrowhead. It proves that they learn at a pretty alarming rate. That was cool. The whole idea of how to infiltrate the castle seemed very D&D Quest to me. It seemed like a bunch of people making the shit up as they go, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that because sometimes you don't want an iron-proof
Plan.
Ocean's 11 plan. It doesn't. Not everything needs to be Clue. Not everything has to be fucking perfect. It doesn't need to work like a well-oiled machine. Things in life don't work that way. Sometimes the best approach is just to take a goddamn hammer and knock the fucking wall down. And that's what Goblin Slayer is mostly, is like it's a half-oiled machine that just kind of has a basic idea and they're going to get there. And it's fun watching them get there. This particular time, they had a dumbass idea that made no goddamn sense whatsoever. You're telling me that the envoys of the Goblin army are a guy in fucking human armor who can't speak fucking Goblin, a big shaman motherfucker, and some broads in a fucking cage, and a fucking dwarf. You're telling me that these are the fucking dudes showing up to do business with this fucking Goblin Paladin? Which, by the way, the Goblin Paladin, that was fucking amazing. But I'm about to excoriate this motherfucker too, because fuck that Goblin Paladin. You motherfuckers built this motherfucker up for 40 fucking minutes. You told me that he was a big fucking threat. You told me this motherfucker was going to make a difference. You told me that this guy was fucking danger. This guy was the thing. This guy was the big bad of the fucking city, the fucking show. You told me that this guy was going to fucking eat fucking antlers and shit out fucking fireballs and ruin fucking humanity. And fucking Goblin Slayer does what? Kills him in the fucking snow like a bitch after a short little fight. Which, by the way, Goblin Slayer is highly trained in the sword. I get that. But you spent the entire goddamn day building this motherfucker up to just be some bitch who gets killed basically in a landslide.
Plot armor.
I know what I just said about dying unceremoniously in the fucking dark to some fucking rando. But that's for the players. That's for the fucking main characters, not the bad guys. A good guy is only as badass as his bad guy is threatening to everyone else around the good guy. If you have a bad guy whose biggest fucking threat is just making some bitch with a tattoo on the back of her neck scream, what the fuck do you have?
Nothing.
That's it. A serial killer. Some fucking rando fucking loser. You know who was threatening? The ogre was threatening. He almost killed Goblin Slayer.
Shit, the elite goblin was more
Slayer
threatening.
Didn't even have to use a potion to beat this fucking chump.
But
there was no fucking risk. There was no danger. And because of that, there was no fucking reward. There was no fucking payoff. It felt like I jerked off and passed out before I arrived. That's what that fucking movie felt like to me. It feels like playing with your fucking balls until you're ready to hum dum. And then when you're about to dim some, you go nap some. That's what it fucking felt like.
It's a lot of sums through there.
Well, that's about sums it up.
God damn it. No, it really didn't feel like there was any loss, or there was going to be any loss.
It didn't feel like anything was at stake.
No, the only loss we would have had is that side chick with the tattoo on the back of her neck. That seems like the only loss we would have actually had.
Her sword back. Big Which, by the way, you couldn't have given me a more shoestring plot. I need to get my. You notice how the plot changed, by the way? At first, it was extinguish the goblins. That was interesting. Watching them sit out there and do it the wrong way, and then the goblins learned and then ambushed them. That was interesting. I like that. The whole series should have just been them extinguishing the fucking goblins. I'd have been okay with it.
Right.
Even if they would have went into the castle and fought the fuck out of the goblins and had a huge badass battle where all of them had to come together and fight the fucking, hold on. I usually suggest things, and I usually try to suggest a solution. Would you like to hear a possible ending that may have been better, in my opinion?
Yes, of course. Why would? Yes.
Everything happens the same. We'll just say, for the sake of sanity, everything happens the same until the cage incident where the chick beats that one to death.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot.
That was called a fit of pique. Pique. A fit of pique. Look it up. It's a writing element, and it's a damn good one. And that was necessary, and I liked it because it shows that she was hurt. She's full of rage, and she's trying to get over it. A person who is hurt and full of rage and trying to get over something will remain angry, unruly, and fucking unreasonable because they have something nagging at the back of their fucking brain. It's just niggling back there, and it's just itching and waiting to fucking get out. And it just fucking comes out of you, and you don't fucking control it.
I mean, even the lizard man brought that up too. He's like, if she keeps doing this, she's gonna be a liability.
Yeah, that's my point. That's a real fucking reaction. Now, let's keep all that, and let's say that they raided the armory, and then they burnt that bitch down. Now they're going room to room killing goblins that are responding to a fire, but they're using the fire as a distraction. And they creatively use all their spells to kill the goblins and whatnot. And maybe we'll say, for instance, the priestess has one shield spell left. Now, Goblin Slayer says, don't use it until I tell you to. Right? Now, they fight the fucking paladin. All right? The paladin's using that weird magic that he's got. All right? And he's fighting the fuck out of these dudes. And Scaly and Elf Girl are holding the other goblins off, right? While Dwarf is like setting up something to get them to escape. Work you gnomes, and he's trying to beat down the wall to get out or whatever. All right, because they know that they're not going to run through that fucking mess. It's on fire and it's full of goblins. Now you've got the priestess, you got the checkmark girl with a scar on her neck, and then you got Goblin Slayer. And Goblin Slayer is fighting this dude in a flaming castle full of dead goblins. And this dude is swinging and breaking all of his weapons, and he's just picking them up off the floor and fighting the fuck out of this dude, getting his shit pushed in, taking wounds, getting fucked up, getting beat the fuck down. And the priestess is like, she's about to use it, and he's like, no, not yet. And like, they're going at it, going back and forth. And then this chick is like, she's scared to death, and she's like on the fucking floor, and she's shaking and shit. And Goblin Slayer is about to take a hit, and he's about to fucking die, bro. The priestess uses her fucking spell. She shields Goblin Slayer. The sword bounces off. The guy goes in the opposite direction. That chick just starts fucking screaming and runs at him, and she just fucking stabs him right in the fucking gut, and she kills the fucking Goblin Paladin. And then there's this moment of silence where Goblin Slayer is on the floor, on his ass, just looking up like he almost fucking died. The priestess is like, oh my God, I just fucking saved him. And she's crying. And then that chick with a scar on her neck is fucking crying. And it's just fire and death everywhere. And it's just all three of them realizing they could have all fucking died. And then Goblin Slayer walks over to her and says something that he always says, one of those one-liner things, and kind of brings her back to reality. And then she starts smiling, and she's like, we can go now. And she gets her fucking sword back. And then the priestess, the Goblin Slayer, and all of them get the fuck out. The castle collapses, burns the fucking goblins. They kill the rest of the goblins. They go back to town. The chick is like, thank you. You helped me grow up. And then Goblin Slayer thanks the priestess, who just saved his fucking life without him having to tell her to. End scene. Fade out.
I hate when you're right, because that would have been a much better ending.
Tell me that wouldn't have been. That's bang, bro. I'd have paid to get that on DVD. But instead, they went with some fucking avalanche running, cherry picked, weapon tossing, goofy fight in the snow. Nothing really of consequence. Nothing happens. Here's your sword back. Have a nice day. Fuck that fucking movie, bro. Fuck that fucking movie.
Yeah, and that's what I tried explaining to you when I was saying, like, I have a problem with animes doing movies.
Is that what you meant? I read it as I had a problem with the anime.
No.
I was like, bro, I was mad as shit. I was on the defensive.
No.
I was like, this motherfucker's gonna talk about slow animes, but he's a fan of fucking One Piece. Get me the fuck out of here, man. One Piece is fucking DBZ on water. Get the fuck out of here.
Do you want to have that argument here? Do you really?
That'll be a different show. That'll be a different show.
That'll be a whole another fucking half-hour argument, my guy.
If you really want to, I'll tell you what, man. We'll let your fans decide.
Okay.
If you want, and if this video, wherever you upload it, gets 50 views,
that's fucking high hopes there, Bubba.
I will fucking watch. I will force myself to watch the first 6 fucking seasons, and I've only watched like 3 or 4, I think, of One Piece, and we will do the first 6 seasons of One Piece. How about that?
I'm just saying, man, I got Draven to watch it, so like...
Well, you have to understand that I already started watching it. I was interested up until it became DBZ on water. I am prepared to defend that statement. I will go to water over that statement, but I want to be fair. You know way more about it than I do. This is untested waters for me.
Wham.
But if you get like 50 views on this, whatever you're doing with this, I will then do the One Piece thing. We can do a One Piece debate. How about that?
All right, I'm down with that. Okay, let me get back to my statement on what I meant by anime movies. So, I checked what the Goblin Slayer movie covered, i.e., in correlation to the manga, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it covers this arc. And I was like, okay. All right, I understand that. So instead of a second season, we get a movie. Okay, that makes no sense to me, but sure, whatever, blows your billy goat under a bridge, I guess. Whatever.
Hey, keep talking. I'm going to put you on my phone real fast because I'm about to piss in this chair.
Oh, please don't do that.
I won't respond or anything like that. I just want to hear what you're saying.
Okay. So, in correlation to that, that comes back to my issue with the Demon Slayer movie. Because, there was shit in that. God damn it. With the Demon Slayer movie, we went up to so many different arcs, and then before we got to the Red Light District, that's where season 1 or 2 ends. It ends with all of our main characters going on a train. And instead of that whole badass arc where we get to see the little sister lose her fucking shit, no, where we see the whole train sequence. The whole train sequence is such a magnificent arc that deserves so much more than a fucking movie. We just get an hour and a half of whatever the fuck. If it's a different story and it's not canon, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if there's a movie or not. I will watch it. But if you give me a movie instead of a new season, you will automatically lose all attention you had for me. There is no point why you can make an entire ass movie of shit that's canon, but refuse to do a second season for whatever unholy reason. And I know not only Scorn, but I know Deadman would disagree with me on this too. Dragon Ball Z did this right. They did movies. The movies had characters, but in the form of continuity, you could watch them and not lose the plot. Except for Battle of the Gods. It was either Battle of the Gods or something else. I know one of them tied into Super, but that was that was all of them testing the waters. Like, do people still like DBZ? Well, we're gonna give them a movie that's gonna tie into Super, and we're gonna hope that works. No, if you're gonna give me new shit, make it canon. If you give me a movie, tell me beforehand it's not canon. Then I will not be as pissed off when I get told there won't be another season. Simple as that.
So, first of all, I agree with you. I think that a movie should fit into the canon. It should add more lore. It can rearrange timelines a little bit. But other than that, it should only serve to add to your overall story. I believe that once you have a canon, once you have what's called a Bible, you should adhere to the Bible of your own creation.
Right.
Like for instance, Superman should have never been able to fly. DC should have nipped that in the bud, but they liked it. It appealed more to a visual medium than the jumping did, and nobody liked to draw the jumping, which is why it went the way of the West. But in the Bible, it's still written as Superman jumps. He doesn't fly; he leaps from place to place. Thus,
Leap over buildings in a single bound.
right, leaping over buildings in a single bound, running faster than a locomotive, which, by the way, was only like 60 miles an hour.
Get shot in the eye and be okay.
He can't run faster than the Flash. That shit was established way later on when they wanted to make him Super Duper Man. So no, I don't mind when movies do that. I like that idea, actually. I think that a lot of what DBZ did towards serials was a good idea, actually. No, I wouldn't argue with that at all. In fact, I would not argue with you if you would have said that the Goblin Slayer, whatever fucking movie that was called, was one of the most bloviated, overblown, over fucking advertised pieces of fuck that we've ever fucking gotten in anime.
Do you see my point? Like, my point is, like, if you're gonna give me a movie, either don't make it canon or don't tell me you're not gonna do a second season, and this is what I get instead.
Well, seeing as how they had so much to fucking work with, I mean, our expectations were through the fucking moon, and they gave us licorice. You know what I mean?
We wanted a gingerbread house. We got a crack house.
Yeah.
That's simple as that. We wanted a full-fledged gingerbread house with all the fixings, all the little gummy bears, and all the little treats on it. We got a crack house with Tommy getting his dick sucked in the broke-down bathroom.
Those little gumdrop buttons are delicious.
Oh fuck yes, they are. Oh god,
But
yes,
no,
they
you're
are.
you're right though. The fucking movie was garbage, and it was terrible. It did not make me happy, and I'm still looking for a season 2, by the way.
It's supposed to be in production. It's supposed to be in production.
Here's my theory, because I would also like to offer a possible explanation as to why there was a movie instead of a season 2. If you remember, when the Goblin Slayer came out, so many fucking pussies were hung up on the first episode that they never watched the goddamn series. And if you go look at some reviews from a few years ago, you have a lot of fucking bad lying ass motherfuckers who will tell you the series is just about these goblins that they rape little girls. Go look at it for yourself.
It's like, how much of that did you actually watch?
They didn't watch it. That's the point. They didn't fucking experience it. They didn't watch it. And these are probably a bunch of twats who think that Shakespeare was racist. Fuck them. Fuck every fucking narrow-minded, myopic, dumb motherfucker who has too much fucking thumb on phone time and not enough fucking nose in book time. Because these fucking idiots, these fucking morons, these myrmidons of idiocracy, they stride aboard the USS Dumbass Express, and then they attack everyone else's fucking island with dumb grenades. They don't know what the fuck a writing concept is. They don't know what the fuck a story is. They don't know what the fuck the why, the who, what, when, where, and why is. They don't even know the how part. They just know that it offends their sensibilities because that's what's going to get them fucking clicks and views. When they know that they're not going to fucking support the product that they're shilling for, they know that they're not going to fucking give the product that they're reviewing a chance if everyone else has already written a negative review. They're going to watch the other person's 4-minute review. Then they're going to give you 3.5 minutes of fucking content. That's what they did.
Hey, Scorn, do you remember my personal motto that I run by? I cannot critique something unless I consume it.
And I fucking respect.
And I wish more people would take up that mantle. If you're gonna critique something, watch all of it. Because if you're just gonna sit there and say, "Oh, well, it's because of this. No, it's because of this." It's like, okay, how far did you get? Well, I only watched the first episode. Then your opinion is completely invalid to me, and there's nothing beyond this conversation I really give a fuck to listen to. Because if that is 12 seasons, I have seen people burn through rom-coms in a fucking day, and you can't tell me that you can't set aside time for a decent story that includes nicely drawn action. By the way, let me just add that in there. Wonderfully drawn action, great storytelling, great world building, great character building, but you can't sit through it because some girl gets hinted at, mind you, being molested in the first episode. But you can watch two teenagers sob and cry for a whole 15 minutes of an episode. Please tell me which one is more mind-numbing, and then we can have this conversation again.
You notice that everyone leaves out the 15-year-old kid who got like held down and his arm got cut off. He got stabbed to death, and they were fucking ripping his fucking face off and shit. They were like ripping him apart while he was still alive. Everyone leaves him out. Right.
Or the girl who got her fucking face slammed into the wall by a giant ogre.
Yes. She got her shit pushed in hard, bro.
Once I watched that, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, he snapped her fucking thigh bone out of socket.
And then just
swung her into a fucking wall face first. And then before they killed her, they had their way with her.
Yeah. Oh, that was brutal. Just watching him like snap her leg and then just whap.
And so
without even skipping a beat
slow.
Either.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, okay. There was one thing I wanted to bring up. So, we're going back very first episode here.
Okay.
When the young adventurer goes back to save the priestess and the fighter, or the wizard, whatever, and he goes to swing his sword, and his sword nicks a rock. Instead of it just phasing through or missing the rock, it pings, and you see the sparks go past his eye. For like an audience member, that's a moment of like, he fucked up hard.
Yeah, did you see his eyes look at the spark?
Yep.
He knew it. When he swung, he was like, yeah! It was that hero moment, and then ping! And his eyes were like, I'm dead. I am so fucked.
Yep. It's little details like that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. Because usually when you see people fighting in a cave, the cave is gigantic. The cave is fucking huge. They can swing swords. They can swing clubs everywhere. But
these motherfuckers are swinging around giant two-handed like cloud strife swords and these. I'm gonna throw my million sword Yakazuma Bunto Pichi Wutu Wutsu attack. It's come the fuck on, bro. Stop it.
Now you're coming into one of my gripes I have about this show.
What, Goblin Slayer?
Yes.
That it didn't have any dumbass attacks?
No, not the dumbass attacks. The length of the building up to the attacks.
I disagree.
You can disagree with me all you want. It should not take you a whole ass 5 minutes to get a fucking prayer out.
Oh, that's
what I'm talking about. Every time that the priestess went to go cast, heal or protect, it was, oh, Earth Mother, please protect us, poor children. Like, you gotta have
number one. Hold on. Number one, you are right. It does take forever. Have you ever watched Voltron?
I can't say I have there, Bubba.
Okay, how about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Wasn't a Power Rangers kid.
Fuck my ass, bro. Have you ever watched anything with transformation scenes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, don't even bring that up because I thought those were too long too. It's
And
not.
hold on now. Hold on. I'm going somewhere with this. The reason I'm asking is because it is a trope in Japanese cartoons since the very beginning that they have those ridiculous, over animated, overblown scenes in them. That is a cultural thing that we are never going to get rid of. I get it. You get it because we are American. And it is not in our culture to stand in front of somebody and announce a 30-minute fucking prayer scene before erecting a shield. An arrow would have pierced her fucking face. And they actually kind of poked fun of it when she started to do so, and then that dude shot her in the arm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Stand it up.
The point
I
I'm
forgot
trying to
about
make
that.
is, I get it, you get it. They poked fun of it, and they moved on from it because they know that their audience is mainly what?
Mostly teenage boys.
And they live in where?
Their mom's basement.
Not in fucking America is my point.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what direction you were going with that.
No, what I'm saying is it's their culture to do that. Look at Sailor Moon.
I know. I remember the Sailor Moon
Voltron,
transformation.
You know, and that right there is why she does it, because they're giving an homage to the other Japanese cartoons that inspired this fucking anime, which took its inspiration from a lot of different things.
Or the Digimon.
That too, or Pokemon, for instance.
Yeah,
all of it.
Digivulsion. How do you say that? Digivulsions?
Yeah, Digivulsion.
I don't know. The theme song slaps. That's all I care about. That Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Sorry, that show gets me hyped up. So
I love Voltron's music, man. I love that shit.
Can we? Okay, I know this is gonna go quite along, but I mean, I stay up till 12, and you don't gotta work tomorrow. So like, are you real pressed on time tonight?
I don't know. Piggies, am I pressed on time?
I don't even think she's still in here, bro.
If she's in here, I don't think she's listening to us anymore. She's probably passed out because we're boring the shit out of her.
You're not pressed on time.
God damn.
God,
you heard that answer? She was like, "You're not pressed on time. I'm just playing fucking Fall Guys."
Dude, she had the secretary voice too. Like you pressed
button,
like, Piggies, do I have time? Gert.
I'm
Yeah, Skorn, you have time.
What it is she wants to play fucking Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't blame her. I've been sitting here playing Fall Guys. I'm like, I just want to hop on Fortnite, but it's fucking down.
I've just been looking at the fucking screen, dude.
Oh, I'm glad that's what you've been. Yeah, I'm glad that's what you've been doing. I've been sitting here playing Fall Guys the entire time.
So can I say another factoid about fucking Goblin Slayer?
Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
The opening theme song, which I love, by the way. I love the opening theme song. It's called Rightfully by Millie. This person does other opening theme music. And if you go to it,
like what? Like what beyond this? Like, is there other notable work? Like other notable work that we would recognize her from?
Oh my God, dude. I'd have to look that shit up. All I heard was that she did other music.
Ah, you're killing me, Smalls.
No, hear me out.
What's her name? Hold on. Well, while you're talking. M-I-L-L-Y? M-I-L. All right, now you can go off.
But I don't know if that's her name or if that's just an artist name that she's using.
Nope. Nope.
Is that her?
Nope. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, though, she makes up in one part of the song, she's making up a language to suit the Goblin Slayer universe. Like I thought it was Japanese. It's not. It's made up language. And apparently she does this whenever there's a cause to make up the language in her theme songs.
Oh, here we go. Right here. Hell yeah. Top 9 Millie anime songs. At number 9, we got Goblin Slayer.
That should be number 3 at least. I think it's amazing.
Well, we'll give. Okay, so
did you even listen to it once?
Yeah.
It's amazing. By the way, did you catch the D&D references?
I did not.
The gods literally are rolling dice to
Oh,
decide the fate of
those.
humanity.
Yes.
That was amazing. I love
Yes.
that. Every time that there was a weird decision to be made, all of a sudden the dice would roll. I fucking love that.
You can definitely tell that the people who made this were D&D nerds.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely. In fact, I wouldn't be
Hardcore.
surprised at all if these were D&D campaigns that they just turned into fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Like the guy who wrote this light novel was like, God damn it, the people in my
GM.
party are gonna be pissed. They're gonna be pissed when they figure out their characters are in this novel, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
The world being in danger isn't an excuse to let goblins live.
This motherfucker took our story. He said we couldn't do this story anymore for some reason. Now we fucking know why.
So what are some other songs that she did that we might know?
It's not anything.
Exactly.
Glepnir.
She did
Koku.
more like, as far as I know, she does more like Japanese stuff that we don't really get over here.
Yeah.
Much.
Bloodivores.
But
Bloodivores.
she's big over there, but over here she's just somebody, which is why I don't know who the fuck she is. All over.
Oh no. Yeah, no. Actually, number 1 is Goblin Slayer, the opening theme.
Fucking great. Fucking great.
I will say this. I think that 90s anime opening songs hold a lot more weight than opening songs of animes now.
I'm gonna tell you the best.
I will die on that hill.
The best opening ever was G.I. Joe Season 2. If you haven't seen that, man, just the animation alone is spectacular. It is goddamn gorgeous. And it's completely hand animated. There's very little computer or anything animated because at that point in time, computer animation really wasn't refined yet. This is like early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Ooh, I got a topic for you. I got something for you.
Are we changing from Goblin Slayer? Because I'm still trying to keep it on Goblin Slayer.
Oh, okay, yeah, keep it on Goblin Slayer.
I mean, if you want to change topics, I mean, we can. I just don't want to be the one to do it because I don't want you to come back later and be like, "You changed my fucking show, Scorn."
I was on Goblin Slayer, you cunt.
I will say one thing though. If you look at the priestess staff, doesn't that look like an upside down butt plug?
Kinda. Yeah, I noticed that the entire time.
Yeah, it just looks like an upside down butt plug with some moons on it.
No, it was just one final thing I wanted to talk on.
My ass is spread.
It's just one final thing I wanted to talk on before we stopped.
And then bend me over the bench and put the butt plug in my ass. And you know that we'll get in that butt plug right in my booty. Makes me so fruity.
Hey, Piggies, you want to do some tard wrangling real quick? Since
I'm sorry, bro.
Oh.
God damn it.
Damn it.
Thank you, Piggies.
Welcome.
I just need a tard button for Scorn. Like every time something happens, I just need. It's like the bat signal, just a giant pig in the air.
I'm
I
sorry.
got you.
the tard signal. Yeah.
Shit, Scorn's talking too much again.
Dude, shut up. Your weaponized autism is getting frustrating.
Oh, mom's yelling at you. Haha.
Oh, that actually kind of hurt my feelings. Well, okay. Yep. Go ahead with your question.
Damn you. God damn. No, okay. So I've had this argument with a bunch of fucking anime nerds and a bunch of cartoon nerds at this. But I say when they started introducing computer animation to fucking shows, that started the slow decline of animation and cartoons. In any medium, anime or Western cartoons. I think the inclusion, when they relied more on CGI than they did actual hand-drawn animation, that was the steep decline.
So this is a I know about this answer, by the way, and I'm kind of glad you asked, but you're not going to like this because this is like kind of something I know a lot about right here. So you are right, though. You are absolutely right, but you're wrong. What
Okay.
it was hand-drawn animation costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to make. The people who pioneered computer-aided graphics, not CGI, but computer-aided graphics, were the people who made The Simpsons. They found that by incorporating computers to aid them in certain scenes of animation, it sped up their time from making an episode every month, maybe 3 weeks, to an episode every week and a half to 2 weeks. Well, when they started making Family Guy, that was a different team, Scorn. No, it really wasn't. It was the same animation studio, I believe. But they started using a lot of computers to assist their animation to the point where they weren't even drawing anything. They just drew a outline and they started making the characters look animated on screen, but that's all pretty much computer generated graphics. None of that's hand drawn anything. And what they do is they completely digitize it. Now what we're doing is cheaper animation, faster animation, but the product suffers.
Yeah,
Because now
it just doesn't feel like that has a soul in it.
Now we're getting to the Cartoon Network and shows like Dexter's Laboratory, which were very good, by the way, which were still partially hand drawn. But then we start getting into shows that were completely ruined by the computer assistants.
Kolyoko.
or the Fairy Godparents or whatever it was. There's a lot of shows that got ruined by that, by the fact that there weren't a team of animators working on it. There was no one with any love working on this crap. And it started just being, well, we need something to put in here. How about, whatever fucking show?
Jimmy Buttfuck and the three mans.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy Buttfuck and the three men in the closet, whatever the fuck. And they just started throwing shit at the wall, and some of it stuck, some of it didn't. I mean, we got some gems too, though. I mean, Billy and Mandy was good.
Oh, Billy and Mandy, it will forever be.
It was good, but we got more piles of shit than anything else in the world. So the point is, you're absolutely right. When animators were embracing computer graphics over actual hand-drawn animation, that's when the trouble really started. What really sealed the deal was when they just decided to make shows for 4-year-olds that no one else could really enjoy. And then no one else enjoyed them at all.
Right, because then those 4-year-olds grew up and they're like, oh, there goes our audience.
It's called aging out, is what they call it. It's aging out. It's the age at which you lose interest in whatever you were interested in, and now that audience is evaporated. And aging out doesn't happen slow, it happens immediately, because you build a knot, like Batman the Animated Series. I remember Batman the Animated Series came out, and it was the goddamn shit.
Which, I thought, wasn't there more than one?
There were a million of them, but I am talking about the first run.
Oh, okay.
Batman
Okay.
Series.
Yep. I remember.
And it was more than amazing. It was blowing my goddamn mind because it was so goddamn gorgeous. People who actually gave a fuck worked on that series. People who cared wrote it. People who cared animated it. People who loved the medium worked on it. You can fucking tell because every episode is so good. Let me tell you about a quick story real fast. Batman comes up to this character who's much like a god, like a deity. And they're in this fairy tale world, and this deity is basically telling Batman about their story. And it's like how they weren't loved, and how no one ever like touched them, and how they were fucking treated like shit their whole life, and they just want to be noticed, want to be heard, they want to matter. Batman sits and just listens to this person, and at the very end there, he puts his arm around her and gives her like a not a hug, but just like a comforting like touch.
Right.
And this person dies in his arms and like turns to vapor in his arms. And that's the last thing that they remember, was just being touched by one person who treated them like a human. That was the show that I grew up with. Tell me that doesn't fucking hit, bro. That's God, that chokes me up now. And I'm like 43 years old. All you want is for one person to show you kindness. And then you can move on. And here comes this person who you've been trying to kill all day long. And they show you just a bit of fucking human compassion. And you can move on now. Those are the shows I grew up with when I was a kid.
Right.
And then you move on to what the fuck ever passes as a cartoon now. It's just a bunch of fucking garbage and sound effects. I mean, there are some good ones though, like Primal's very good. I love Primal.
I tried to watch Primal. A guy at work keeps trying to get me to watch Primal, and I'm like, not my cup of tea. But
you know what? I totally get that. Totally get that. It takes a certain amount of patience to get into it, and I didn't like it at first either. But I was at work. I had nothing else to do. I was a captive audience basically. I watched 2 or 3 of them, and I was like, "Fuck, this is good. This is really goddamn good." And then like now I'm at a season like 2, and I want to see what happens next. I will admit though, they are starting to add certain things that I don't like. Like they're starting to add voices for characters. I don't like that. It ruins the aesthetic, because part of what drove me to that series was that there was no speech to attach myself to. It's only the actions, the raw being of the character, what they're doing. I love that shit.
yeah, I was about to say,
But
was it one of the main things that
there was no recorded speech, and that was what was great about that. To wrap up my theory, or to wrap up your theory, you are right. It was when computers entered the mix. And you know what's happening now? A lot of animation studios are resetting, and they're throwing the computers out the fucking window, and they're going back to what worked in the beginning. And right now, there's animation studios out there that are making products on pen and paper, doing it old school, because that's what sold. That's what made money. And right now, there's a lot of animation studios, not just Japanese ones, but American ones too. They're trying to bring back old cartoons. And I say, if you want that, support the fuck out of it. You'll always hear me say that, man. If you want it, support it. If you don't support it, if you don't put your fucking money down, if you don't turn it on and leave it playing, it will go away again. And
you can't bitch.
Complain about yourself. Yeah, that's right.
You can't bitch if it goes away.
Can't bitch about the president if you didn't cast a fucking vote. You can't bitch about the cartoons
right.
if you didn't fucking watch them.
That's like, what was that? What was the company that made Cuphead?
They almost went out of business.
Yeah, because they were dedicated to it being hand-drawn.
Because it was so expensive to make it, yeah. And then what did they do? They digitized the next game. They're making Cuphead 2 right now, and it's going to be digital. I don't really blame them for it. I mean,
I didn't know they were making a Cuphead 2. I knew they finally released the DLC after fucking forever.
No, they're making a Cuphead 2 right now. And they're going to digitize it. It's the same studio, I believe. It should be really good. But
I mean, I don't blame them on that one.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Have you ever seen Korgoth of Barbaria?
Why does that sound so familiar?
Korgoth of Barbaria was written. It was written for I think it was MTV. No. It was Cartoon. It was Cartoon Network. It was their late night lineup. It was their Adult Swim, along with
Aqua Teen Hunger Force and all that.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, all that block. Korgoth of Barbaria had one episode. One episode. It was completely hand drawn. If you have not watched it, go fucking check it out. It is goddamn hilarious. It damn near bankrupted the fucking studio to make one episode. Absolutely no one earned any money off of this.
What? That sounds so familiar.
It was only one episode, and then that was it. It was done. They were like, "Yeah, this is too expensive." Korgoth of Barbaria, episode 1. Not even that fucking long. Oh, they took it off of YouTube because YouTube is fucked. If you look at some sites, I'm sure I could link it to you later. The point is that it wasn't It wasn't cheap. It was very expensive. And when they made it, it damn near bankrupted them. And even though it was really good and received a lot of praise and people wanted to see more, they had no more money. They were like, yeah, we can't do this. So that was it. That was the only episode that ever aired. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I know a lot about cartoons and animation. I fucking love.
Hey, don't apologize. This is what I live for. This is what I live for, is to hear other people's opinions. Is to hear other people's opinions on shit.
Making your regular fans like fucking like ready to jump out the window at work and shit.
I'm gonna say this: if they know who I am, then they know what I am all about content-wise, and if they don't like it, then go find somebody else, because that'll be a personal problem at that point.
If I wanted to find someone else, where would I go in a convenient place to find a lot of cool streamers at once?
You can go to the Rage Pirates Discord, which will be linked in the video description below. You can find people like me, Skornered, Piggy, Splendor Princess, Koala Doll, and a bunch of other kind-hearted streamers. You can come in here, tell us we're great streamers. You can come in here, tell us we need new shoes. You can even go in there and tell Skorn to fuck off like the rest of us do.
Fuck off.
Basically. Or you could just come... I like how Piggies doesn't say shit, but as soon as I say that, that's when you hear him laugh.
It's so hard not to laugh.
What can I say? My shill game is top tier.
Bro, it's becoming a joke between us now.
I have worked on my shill game for years, and it is just now getting to where I want it to be, so suck my dick.
It is becoming... You know what? When are you going to do another podcast episode? Because I'd like to... There's a YouTube channel that I'd like to talk about that is fascinating me.
That would be tomorrow, good buddy.
I might...
Hey, let's end this, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh,
okay?
my bad. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yep.
Yeah,
all
right.
right, so, Scorn, where can people find you?
They can
Beyond the
find
Rage
me
Pirates.
They can find me at the Rage Pirates, yeah.
Or what's your Twitch channel?
Oh,
the other thing I'm gonna link.
It's Skornered, and the link will be down below. You can find me there if you want to like chill and play video game. Well, maybe video games. Mostly I do art and just curse these days. So check that shit out.
Video games, you can torture them with fitness. It's great.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
You could do that too.
Speaking about fitness, Piggies, don't we have a fitness challenge coming up?
We do. We have a subscriber challenge right now going on between the two of us. Once we reach 100, which we're at 68. Once we reach 100, you get to watch me get tortured with fitness, and him, you get to listen to him, because he doesn't show his face. But yeah, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're at 68 right now.
Piggies, I feel like you have an unfair. I feel like you have an unfair advantage there because you already teach a jazzercise class. So like,
yeah.
I mean, it's mostly just to hear Scorn bitch the entire time.
Now, don't count me out though. I got a couple tricks up my sleeve because we're gonna make we're gonna do the thing together, and we're gonna make it together. And I have a few things that maybe she'll hate.
Oh, fuck you.
Don't worry about that. We're gonna see her bitch. If we're gonna hear me bitch, we're gonna see her bitch too.
Everybody's gonna bitch by the end of this.
By the way, if
you want to see Rage Pig, that's how you get Rage Pig.
if you guys come and check me out drawing, if you guys want a drawing, there's a few ways you can get a drawing from me. If you guys want to buy something or get me to do something or whatever, what you can do is you can direct message me on Twitch, or you can join the Discord, or you could just fucking friend me and then fucking hit me up on Discord. I'm a little drunk right now, so hopefully I just covered all that the way it was supposed to be covered.
It was fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not as good as mine, but it was okay.
Yeah, well, yours is... You're more of a presenter and a showman. I'm more of just a raging lunatic.
Yes.
I'm the guy who presents the sideshow act. Come on, see the rage demon in the cage. He likes to scream at anybody, and he likes to yell racial slurs at anybody that comes across his way. You can throw popcorn at him, you can throw your shoe at him. Just don't call him fat. He's very self-conscious about that, folks. Please don't do that. It took us about It took us about 3 months to get him out of his depressive spiral, and we just got him back to top peak performance. Honestly, there was no personal digs there. That was just kind of like the showman going off.
Why is your character not like a ring circus kind of guy?
I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I do not have the money to make one. If I had the cash, I fucking would.
You need, like, he needs to be shirtless with, like, a coat with tails and his gut hanging out. Oh my god.
No, he needs to be fucking, he needs to have a gut, like, poking, like, he needs to have a shirt tucked in, but the gut is, like, stretching the shirt.
All right, we're going to finish this video. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I appreciate the views. I appreciate you being here, listening to me and Skorn dissect Goblin Slayer.
What is love? Baby, don't
All right,
hurt
that's
me.
it. I love having a mute button, especially with Skorn, especially when he goes into his singing. I love it. It's beautiful. Everybody, have a great night. Have a safe night. And as always, keep your balls clean.